The Mystara project is proud to present Part 13 of the Lore of Mystara series. In this video we cover the period from BC 1250 to BC 1001. In BC 1250, the last of the Red Orcs were driven from Sind. To secure their river valley, the Sindis pushed the Red Orcs further east, taking their territory to the edge of the Children of At-Ruagin and almost to Lake Amsarak. This marked the end of the Karamaris, time of going forth, and begins their now time period. In BC 1200, another group of Tanagoro abandoned the Tangor Peninsula and rode southwest until they colonized Cape Fire in the eastern Vulcania region. In BC 1199, after a century of cavern wandering, the Grim Reaper's troll horde settled in a swampy area they called Trollhättan, in the west-central Broken Lands. In 1190 BC, Atsanteotl raised the city of Ingmor up a volcanic shaft, so the top of the temple was at the surface. He placed a chained Nightwing in the temple to act as a gate to an entropic outer plane. Woga's tribe reached the Broken Lands, joining the ogres of Ogamore, Arkalakan's old tribe and the trolls of Trollhättan. Then remnants of the Great Horde resurfaced in the northwestern Broken Lands and discovered in the central Broken Lands the Great Temple of Atsanteotl. In the temple, Orcish shamans discovered a magical dagger, which unbeknown to them was an elven sacrificial dagger +1, which they believed was the legendary blue knife. The tribes proclaimed a truce, and the great shaman's prophecy came true. Sometime between BC 1190 and BC 500, most of the Broken Lands tribes were founded. Arkalakan's descendants split into two tribes, one of Goblinus Grandi's Hobgoblins, who founded Hobgobland in the northeast of the Broken Lands, and one of Yellow Orcs, who founded Yellow Orcia in the eastern Broken Lands. The Streel River formed the surface boundary between the two new tribes. Woga's descendants split into two tribes. The Red Orcs founded Red Orkland in the southern Broken Lands, with the Vesuvian River marking their western surface border with Ogamore and Trollhättan. Southern Red Orkland was populated by the Orcus rubeus vulgaris species of Red Orcs, whilst northern Red Orkland hosted the Orcus simius terribilis Red Orcs. The Streel River marked their eastern surface border. On the eastern side of Red Orkland, the second tribe, mainly consisting of kobolds, founded a tribal territory. The remnants of the Great Horde split into three tribes: bugbears, goblins, and common orcs, the latter comprising Orcus porcus and Orcus imperata rex species. The Ursus bipedis bugberbianus species of bugbears founded Bugberbia in the northern Broken Lands. The goblins founded High Gobliny in the northern Broken Lands, between Bugberbia and Hobgobland. The goblins chose their own king. The common orcs founded Orcus Rex in the northwestern Broken Lands, north of Ogamore and Trollhättan, separated from Bugberbia on the surface by the Vesuvian River. Sometime between BC 1109 and BC 1034, Alfax was born on the world of, and outer plane of, Old Alphatia. On the 1st of Thormont BC 1104, the Porador, Felister, Celebril and Gelbalf elven clans discovered the refuge of stone and began to call themselves Shadow Elves. They began constructing the City of Stars. Myfala the Old was chosen as temporary king. Worship of Raphael commenced and construction of the Temple of Raphael began on Felmont the 14th. This marked the start of the first year in the Shadow Elf calendar. In BC 1100, Prince Minroth of the Nithian Empire was questing on the path of the polymath in the sphere of matter. Some false rumors suggest he was following the path of the paragon in the sphere of energy. His immortal sponsor is unknown, but many suspect it was Ptah, known to the dwarfs as Kagyar. Minroth was instructed by his sponsor to seek an artifact in the Isles of Dread. So Minroth set sail with a colonizing party of Nithians to the Isles of Dread. Overcoming the fogs and reefs, he founded Harbour Town on the west coast of the Isle of Dread, which today is called Trader's Isle. The Nithians recognized the rich resources of the island. They named the archipelago the Colony Isles. Another Nithian prince, Ramenhotep, established the colony of Thoshar on the southeast Isle of Dawn, which marked the eastern extent of Nithian colonization. Kor Yis, a natural shape-shifting werebear, was born on the world and outer plane of Old Alphatia. Sometime between BC 1100 and BC 1025, the common Alphatian, Arsla, was born on the world and outer plane of Old Alphatia. Sometime between BC 1100 and BC 711, the Isle of Dawn spiderfolk realm of Arran grew weak. The Fanatan slaves escaped and stole Pax's peaceful Periapt from under she who dwells in darkness. However, they could not locate the gate to their world of Thorn in the outer plane of night, as it was hidden in the dark of the Lake of Avernus, 9,000 foot below. The Fanatans fled to the forest in the south and cast the Periapt into the Aurora River, trusting that one day it would return to them, so they could return to their homeworld of Thorn. The Periapt eventually washed up on the bank of the Aurora River in Thoshar, after the annual flood. The artifact was delivered to the hero Akhenatis, grandson of the Nithian pharaoh. Akhenatis converted it to a club by affixing it with a golden shaft. He then used it to slay the Stygian giant, who was perhaps a nightwalker. Sometime between BC 1100 and BC 600, the Nithian Empire conquered and enslaved the Alassians on the Isle of Dawn. Most were transported back to the Nithian heartland to serve as slaves. Following the rule of Prince Ramenhotep in Thoshar, the Tokaramses dynasty of pharaohs commenced. Sometime between BC 1099 and BC 1045. Minroth had previously retrieved artifacts of the Sphere of Matter as a fighter, adapter, elf and ogre, and was now in his final quest. His inhuman accuracy with 4 feathered arrows shot from his bow greatly impressed his subjects, who built a 100-foot statue of him. On the 19th of Swiftmont, sometime between BC 1095 and BC 1050, Minroth journeyed from Harbour Town to the summit of the Immortals' home volcano on the south of the island. There he recovered his patron's artifact and ascended as the immortal Minroth, patron of self-reliance. His sudden disappearance unsettled the Harbour Town colonists. They founded the Church of Minroth to venerate him and believed there would come a day when he would return to them. This formed the basis of their philosophy of Minrothism. Sometime between BC 1084 and BC 1009, Alphax I was crowned Emperor of Alphatia, on the world and outer plane of Old Alphatia. In BC 1050, inspired by Fla's Hutarkans, Nithian wizards added a pint of gnomish blood to each Black Moon troll slave, and created gnolls to be a new servitor race. However, the gnolls proved too unruly and escaped. Some hill gnolls of the Canis erectus septentrionum species escaped to the hills of the northern reaches and the Macress Mountains, where they raided each other for scarce resources. There are some who suggest that this occurred in BC 1700, prior to the first known gnoll being created. Tralda pirates plagued Nithian and Hin shipping in the northern Sea of Dread. Around this time, Meladan Starwatcher was born in the Sylvan realm. Nithian priests journeyed to Oinkmar, where they met with the humanoid shamans. This greatly offended Atsanteotl. Yinogu was born among the gnolls of Nolheim, and was one of their first war leaders. Around BC 1045, Koryis the Negotiator, a wizard adventurer, embarked on the path of the epic hero in the sphere of thought, leaving his native world of Old Alphatia. It is likely he was sponsored by Asterius due to their mutual interest in trade and commerce. He successfully completed the nearly impossible task of bringing peace to warring factions of fiends who had been fighting a perpetual war. In BC 1040, construction of the City of Stars was completed by the Shadow Elves. The shamans of Raphael enthroned Tarisfer as king of the Shadow Elves. Sometime between BC 1040 and BC 1000, Tokaramses V succeeded Tokaramses IV as pharaoh of Thoshar. During his reign, Thoshar laid claim to the dreamlands of the central western Isle of Dawn, the northern provinces of Dawn, and the Northlands, being Norvold. He was known as the Far Traveller for reaching the Great Bay of Norvold to view the Arch of Fire. On the 2nd of Caldmont, sometime between BC 1040 and AC 998, Felister and Celebril clan members fought over ownership of certain prestigious areas of the City of Stars. 1,000 died before shock, shame, and the shamans brought an end to hostilities. Around BC 1010, King Milen of Marilanev met a Hin adventurer who told of his people's home continent of Devania, which lay across the Sea of Dread. King Milen was intrigued by this tale and considered building a fleet to colonize this southern continent. In BC 1009, on the world and outer plane of Old Alphatia, Emperor Alphax I unwisely decreed that the followers of the universal truth of fiery dominion had won an essay debate over the followers of the most righteous college of aerial splendor. This decree is referred to as Alphax folly. Civil war erupted between the rival groups. This concludes Part 13 of the Lore of Mystara series, covering the period from BC 1250 to BC 1001.